What's going on, everybody? I'm Occupied Dread, and welcome to my 100th Platinum Trophy video. This has been a 5.5 year journey where I finally got the big 100. I couldn't have done it without my friends, especially my best friend on the PlayStation, Jono. I know him for 5 years now, and he's helped me with countless of Platinums. I also want to thank Brian at Happy Thumbs Gaming and Kirsten Kraus. Their channel links will be in the description down below. The background pictures you are seeing are of the opening of my PS4 on Christmas Eve in 2016. But without further ado, let's get into my platinums. In 2012, my cousin comes up to me and tells me about a game with dragons and spells and mythical creatures. He recommended that we should try it out, and we immediately fell in love with it, and 5 months later, I showed my best friend the game, and he fell in love with it as well. Ever since then, Skyrim has been my favorite video game of all time, and it is at least in my best friend's top 5. Skyrim is about a prisoner caught and sent to the chopping block. Just as they're about to die, a dragon appears and makes a big enough distraction for you to escape. Learn many different ways to take out the enemies and creatures of the world, be it magic, like fire, lightning, etc. You can use stealth, putting poison in your enemies' pockets, or framing them by putting stolen valuables on them, or you can just do full-out assault, just constantly swinging a sword or using a bow. There's many different races for you to be, with their own unique benefits and weaknesses, many different weapons and armor, and there's basically unlimited side quests in the game to keep you entertained. And there's even mods that make the game look even better or make it easier for you, but mods disable trophies, unfortunately. I'm actually using a couple mods in the gameplay because I got every trophy on the game. But back to the story. You eventually learn that you can absorb dragon souls and speak their language and shout like them, which gives you very powerful abilities. It's then revealed that the World Eater Alduin has returned with the intention to destroy Skyrim and the whole world. So, your goal is to find a way to kill him and save Skyrim before he does so. The platinum was very fun. I basically do it every time I replay the game, because it doesn't require you to do that much. Well, yeah, Skyrim will be my favorite game of all time. I will most likely get a tattoo of its icon somewhere on my body in the near future. I just love it that much. My first experience with Minecraft was in the beginning of 2013, where I was at the Boys and Girls Club in my area, and they had an Xbox 360 with a demo of Minecraft on it, the one with the tiny little castle. And I thought the game was pretty cool, had lots of potential. But honestly, looking back at the game, it's not really for me. I'm not that creative when it comes to the builds and stuff. I sometimes play survival with my friends, but most of the time I will ask them for help on my houses, because that would just make a gigantic wooden rectangle. But Minecraft is, well, if you don't know what Minecraft is, I don't know how you're even watching this video, honestly. But Minecraft is a It's a survival game where you can build houses, fight monsters, farm animals, and go mining. The game has unlimited potential and possibilities for you to be whatever and whoever you want to be. But Minecraft honestly isn't for me though. I just don't have that creative functionality in my brain. The platinum was pretty easy on Minecraft though. There's two different modes: survival, where it's gameplay you're seeing now, where you have limited resources and health, and you have to go mining for everything, and creative, where you have unlimited resources and you can't die, but you can get trophies. I was able to exploit the game where I was able to get items from creative onto survival and still get the trophies. But I have a friend who platinumed Minecraft without creative, and they said that it was pretty easy. I played the Bioshock games in late 2013 when I was 12 years old. The first one I played was Bioshock Infinite, so it has a soft spot in my heart, even though it's renowned as the worst one in the trilogy. As a kid, you're more drawn to the bright, not scary game compared to the first one, which was very dark, jump scary, eerie, and creepy. As an adult, I do very much like Bioshock 1, but I still like Bioshock Infinite even more. It's like nostalgia. But I do see the masterpiece that is Bioshock 1. It's fucking phenomenal on how they made it, especially at that time. Bioshock Infinite is about a man who's on a mission to find a girl and deliver her to someone and wipe away the debt that he owes. You make your way through a city that's in the clouds, and it turns out the girl you're trying to deliver is basically the princess of the area. And everyone is throwing everything they got at you to make sure you're not leaving with her. The girl also likes to scavenge for ammo, money, health, etc. while you're walking around or while you're in combat. She also has this ability to tear things from other realities into yours, like weapons, health, ammo, etc., and helps you give an advantage on the enemies. She's basically the best sidekick of all time. The platinum is actually pretty difficult because you gotta beat the game on the hardest difficulty without using the vending machines that let you buy ammo and health from them. So you gotta only make do with the scraps dropped by enemies or found randomly on the ground.
Is a better home awaiting in the sky.
I actually don't know when I got Minecraft story mode. I never really had strong feelings towards this game and Minecraft, as I covered when I talked about Minecraft in general. I played this a pretty long time ago, I just don't recall when, and I somehow got a digital copy of the full game of this before the company that made it, that's called Telltale, before they went bankrupt. So, because they went bankrupt, I'll never be able to play and platinum the second game. But Minecraft Story Mode is about a group of friends that are on a path to find old heroes and legends to help them destroy a world-ending threat. It's just a Telltale game where you make decisions and move around. It's like Until Dawn or The Quarry, but worse, because no matter what you say, the dialogue will always be the exact same. The platinum is really easy. Every trophy besides 2 or 3 is unmissable, because it's just story related. You just do the story and you'll get the platinum essentially. I got the Stick of Truth in late 2017, and I gotta be honest, this is the most graphic game I have ever played. But it's a South Park game, so, that's kind of expected. The game is basically just a show but you can control the characters, and it's a whole new story. But it's pretty cool because it looks exactly like the show, which is what the people were going for. But this game is so dirty and raunchy and crazy and South Parky, it's nuts. This game has alien anal probing, Nazi babies, literally babies, Nazi zombie babies, where they're undead fetuses with the red band on them, and whenever they speak, it's Hitler's voice. You literally see your parents have sex. You're literally like underneath them having sex. There's a scene where you see your father's ball sack coming at you. It's dead center of your screen. It is so crazy, and it is not. I doubt it would be safe to upload this to YouTube today, like gameplay of this game. But the story of the Stick of Truth is that there's a new kid moving into South Park, and in the midst of all the kids playing a D&D type game, like there's elves and mythical weapons and stuff, but they're kids, so just random bullshit. And Kyle's clan, the elves, steal the Stick of Truth from Cartman's base, who's the humans, and Cartman sends you to get it back. The platinum wasn't that bad. Honestly, the game takes roughly 15 hours. 12 to 15 hours of platinum. But there's some missable trophies, so you have to replay the story maybe like 2 or 3 times. But that's it. Farcry Primal was one of the games I got with my PlayStation 4 for Christmas in 2016. And I honestly don't remember that much of this game. I haven't played it since I platinumed it in February 2018. Only played it for a couple of minutes to get a clip for it. But honestly, now that I re-downloaded it via PS Plus, I actually might try it out because I do have some fond memories of the game. But I didn't want to replay the entire game just to get 3 minutes of footage for the game. Even though I know that's a little bit boring. But the game wasn't bad by any means for me to stop playing it. Just it didn't seem too appealing compared to the other games I had at the moment, which is, I think, understandable. But back to the game. If I remember correctly, you're a caveman who's like hunting mammoths and stuff with spears and bows and clubs, and there's a couple rival tribes that are trying to overtake the area that you populate and rule. So you got to take them out. There are a good amount of weapons they could use, like I said. Like a spear, you could light them on fire, your club on fire, bow and arrows, a sling, I think, and a couple other good stuff. A two-handed club, which I know I liked the most. And there's a pretty good amount of animal companions that you could have. A couple of little ones, there's some big ones, like a saber-toothed tiger, which you're seeing right now. There's some big bears you could get, and some of them you could ride. Like the tiger I just said, you can see right now I'm riding it. But yeah, it has a good amount of animal companions. I think there's 30. There's like a bird you could use if you ever played Assassin's Creed Odyssey. It's kind of just like that. You have an eagle or a hawk that you can send above you to scout out the area, which is pretty dope. That's what I like that about the Odyssey, honestly. But this game wasn't that hard for me. I don't recall this game being that hard. There's no difficulty related trophies I remember. I don't think there's even any difficulty settings. But yeah, like I said, I haven't played in a while. I just stopped playing it after I beat it. I never even went to go platinum it. I just beat it and just pissed off. Which explains why there's like a year gap in between the first and last trophies. Well, yeah, this game's not that bad. I honestly would recommend it if you're bored, but I don't think it was the best game I ever played. But it definitely wasn't the worst. I pre-ordered COD World War II back then. It actually sounded like it would be fun because it had no more futuristic stuff. And to be honest, it was a pretty decent game. The multiplayer was actually pretty enjoyable for me. No high-tech movement, guns are pretty simple, and I liked the war mode with all the objectives. And zombies was decent, no, it wasn't decent, it was bad. Zombies was bad, I'm gonna be honest. Wasn't as good as the other zombie games. I still like zombies regardless. But I'm only gonna be talking about the campaign in this part. So, in the campaign, you're a soldier from Texas who you and your squad are trying to get to the beach in Normandy. Trying to get from the beach in Normandy to the Rhine, which is a gigantic bridge border that's outside of Germany. And you go make your way through Paris and help liberate Paris. And as you go through this whole journey with your squad, it becomes more of a brothers in arms kind of story where they all have their own individual character and you bond with them, and it's pretty nice. I think the campaign's the best part of World War II for sure. The Platinum was also pretty easy, like every other Call of Duty Platinum. You just gotta beat the game on veteran difficulty, do a couple extra stuff in campaign, all the collectibles, and then just do some other stuff in the other two modes, like do some stuff in multiplayer and zombies. It wasn't that bad.
Somewhere beyond the sea, somewhere waiting for me.
I first played the Bioshock games when I was 12 years old in 2013, and I'm surprised I actually got through all three of them at that young of an age, because the last time I played Bioshock 1, like in 2018, it wasn't hard, but it did have some puzzles. I barely remember anything about it though until I played it in 2017 and 2018. The game follows a man named Jack whose plane crashes and he gets stranded to a city that's on the bottom of the ocean. As you progress through this like abandoned basically city, it's just you find out how destroyed and corrupted and criminal everyone is there. It's a very eerie place because you're at the bottom of the sea and it's very dark. This was an easy plat for me, but I know it's a pretty difficult plat. But it was easy for me because I beat the game on the easiest difficulty without dying. and then at the last millisecond of the cuts of the gameplay, you change difficulty to the hardest one, and you get the trophy for completing the game on the hardest difficulty without dying. I don't know if that still works. If it doesn't, then I pity whoever has to do it legit. But if it does still work, then give it a shot. This is actually my first God of War game. I never played any of the ones before this one, but once I played this one, I immediately fell in love with the character and the world around it, and couldn't wait for the sequel. I wanted to get my hands on its predecessors. I'm not gonna go into the lore of God of War because there's 9 games in the franchise, and it's like way too much to talk about, especially when I'm trying to somewhat talk less about games because these videos are getting kind of long. But this game has become my top 5 favorite game. It's becoming in my top 5 games. Like, besides Skyrim, I think this is my most played single player game. Because I have 364 hours played on it. I beat it at least 20 times. I know the script. If I record Bioshock, if I record God of War 2018, like if I stream it, I'll just say all the lines. I love this game so much though. If you haven't tried it yet, I don't really know what's wrong with you. I know it's not for everyone, but everyone should at least try it if they have access to it. The game is relatively easy to platinum. You know, there's no difficulty setting or nothing. Tiny bit grind, no missable trophies. So that's pretty neat. It's pretty easy compared to its predecessors. Oh man, its predecessors were a pain in the ass. I did beat this game on the hardest difficulty because I wanted to, and that was pretty damn hard. And I'm currently doing that on Ragnarok, which it's a little bit easier. This game became free in late 2018, and since I loved the God of War 2018 so much, I figured might as well give this a shot, see why everyone loved the old God of War games. I loved how graphic and brutal it was. It was fucking crazy how bloody it was. And then I understood why everyone loved the old God of War games. Because it was just so graphic and brutal and bloody and awesome. I'm still not going to explain the plot because this series has 9 games in it. It's going to take too long to explain the plot. But I love how they portrayed the Greek gods in this game. I think my favorite design out of all of them was Hades. I really liked how Hades was. The platinum for this game is hair-pulling hard. It's really damn hard. Or like, I would just never want to do it again. You gotta play on the hardest difficulty A, and then B, you gotta do this side challenge where you do these 10 challenges that get harder and harder and harder as you go on. I forgot what they even were, but I know they take like days and hours and hundreds of attempts to do. It took me 2 days to complete it. And it was just too difficult for me to ever want to do it again, honestly. I don't recommend playing this game if you're just going for platinums. Unless you really want a challenge, and go ahead. But if you're just like kind of more the laid back person who just goes for like easy platinums, this is not that. My first Call of Duty game was Black Ops 2. So I never had a chance to play the actual good CODs before it. Because all the CODs afterwards are kind of bad. Or not kind of bad, they are bad. I still haven't played the OGs since I don't have a PS3. So I'm glad they remastered Modern Warfare 1 and 2. And I heard they're making remastering number 3. Because it gives people like me a chance to play the OG games who never could. Modern Warfare 1 is about a soldier who is joining the SAS, which is British intelligence. I believe it's like the Navy SEALs, I think, of England. I think. Don't get too mad at me if I'm wrong. I didn't want to really do the research. Just know that's what they're joining. And it's during the Cold War, and your main mission is to try to stop this Russian guy with one arm from sending nukes onto the rest of the world. The game is a medium when it comes to platinum difficulty. Like every other Call of Duty, you gotta beat the game on veteran, which is the hardest difficulty. And you gotta grab all the intel and do a good bunch of other random stuff. You know, like every other COD. This remaster came with multiplayer also. But thankfully the trophies are exclusively campaign. So you never need to touch the multiplayer for it. I never did. I actually don't know where I heard of this game, but I'm so glad that I did and bought it. Because this game right here, it's a fucking masterpiece. This game is so damn good. Every choice you make has an impact on the story, and there's so many different missions and endings based off of your choices. The game it takes place in the year 2038, where androids are being made and manufactured everywhere, and they're starting to become very popular, where they can do everyone's jobs, but more efficient, making the homeless percentage spike, go up. In this game you control three different androids. The first one, his name is Connor. He's an android police detective who is signed up to investigate android homicide cases with his cool old lieutenant called Hank, who is played by Clancy Brown. The second one is Kara, android housekeeper that takes care of a father and his daughter. She has a revelation one night to save the girl from her abusive dad and take her to the Canadian border to live in peace together. The third one to control is Marcus. He's also a housekeeper android, but this time for an old man. He eventually gets injured and scrapped, and he finds his way to other androids, and together they unite against their human oppressors as a new intelligent species. You could either be peaceful or violent with Marcus's movement for against the humans. And man, I went into so much detail about this game. It's just so damn good. Where I recommend it to everyone. This game, I can't. I wish I could talk about it more because this game is just so fucking good. It's just so good. Like, you guys gotta try it out. The platinum on this game is pretty easy. You gotta do 2 playthroughs where you make 2 different choices. Like how I said, you could be violent or peaceful with Marcus. One playthrough you gotta be violent, one you gotta be peaceful. My first one I was peaceful. You also gotta grab some collectibles, but it's not that tedious. But yeah, and that's it. And try to keep everyone alive, but that's it. But yeah, this game is so damn good. I can't explain that even more. Please try it. It's a damn masterpiece that needs to be recognized more. I never played a Spiderman game before, or hell, I never even been the biggest superhero fan. The only superhero games I played before this was Arkham Asylum and City. But I know this game is a masterpiece. It's really damn good. Like, Insomniac mastered the impossible physics of web slinging, where you could just swing for minutes and not even notice that much time has passed. Where this game is renowned as the best Spider-Man game, I think. I never played the old ones, so I can't really judge. And this game just looks fantastic. It looks so realistic, and the colors just pop during like nighttime and like sunset and sunrise. And all the characters are great. They got great motivations, great dialogue, and the story is super. It's so phenomenal, and tense, which is what you want. This game is a 10 out of 10. It's way too good to pass down, whatever. In this game, a new gang is building up and having a gang war with the rival gangs in the city. Just constantly destroying the city and destroying buildings. And while things are heating up, 6 of Spider-Man's worst enemies get broken out of prison and is running rampant through the streets, killing anyone and destroying anything in their way. This game is very easy to platinum. There's no difficulty trophies for the platinum. There's no missable trophies. Everything can be done after beating the story, which is pretty cool. You know, you don't have to worry about missing anything. You don't have to do anything specific in any missions. Just do the story, get all the collectibles afterwards. And all the collectibles, they don't feel tedious. They all have their own special meaning, where you feel like you're doing good collecting them and doing the side missions, which is what you want in the game. And what's even more phenomenal is that this game has a cameo of Stan Lee, the creator of Spider-Man and most of the Marvel characters, has a cameo in this game. You know, You know Stanley, the guy who makes a cameo in almost all the Marvel movies up until Endgame? Yeah, that guy. Has a cameo in this game. That's cool. It's really cool. If that doesn't make this game phenomenal, I don't know what does.
Please don't screw this up.
I played this game for a day and never went back to it until like 2 years later. That's why there's a 2 year gap in the pictures before this, which is weird because I think I pre-ordered this game. I guess I just wasn't feeling it when I first downloaded it. It's weird though. After playing a good amount of the sequel, Horizon Forbidden West, I like that one like way more because it has more stuff. But that doesn't mean this game's bad. This game's still amazing. Horizon Forbidden West, in my opinion, is just better. The characters in this game are very fleshed out. They have their own unique moments, have their own unique motivations. The machines in this world are super cool too and unique. I've never seen anything like it. Well, the story of this game is that you are a hunter on Earth, I think like 3,000 years in the future, and you're trying to find your long lost mother that abandoned you at birth. You're trying to find out who that is and like why. And as you're making your way looking for her, you pass by many machines that replicate animals. Some are big and dangerous. Some are smaller but still dangerous. And some you can override them and mount them and ride them. It's super cool. The platinum for this game is fairly easy. There's no missing trophies. There's no difficulty related trophies for the platinum. And you could replay the boss infinitely, because you do got to do a couple trophies, a couple side quests before you do the boss, and that's why you could do the boss infinitely, because they give you that chance, so you don't have to replay through the whole story again. This game's a 10 out of 10 though. I very much recommend it if you never have, and very much recommend the sequel afterwards, because the sequel is even better. One of my friends was playing this game, and since it was free at the time, I figured might as well try it out. And it was actually pretty fun. It's something I never really played before. A game that's like very heavily PvE, or like there's only like one PvP mode and no one plays it. And it's very gory, as you can see. Like there's blood everywhere, and the blood doesn't go away. Just covered in blood, guts. I like it actually. The story of this game is that some scientists are making Zeds, and one of them went crazy and started making more abomination ones. Now I think one of them is actually the boss, because the one who went crazy made them decided to turn himself into one, and he kept like the control of his mind. He's very smart. And your goal was literally just to go through waves of them. Like that's it. Just go through constant waves of these Zeds. This game also there's multiple classes in this game too, which is pretty cool. There's like a melee expert, a demolitionist, marksman, where you're better with like shotguns. There's like I think it's called Firebug, where you're like better with fire. But my favorite one is Field Medic, where you heal your team. Because if you don't have someone who's constantly healing your team, you're just gonna lose. Like, honestly, and I prestiged that thing twice. And I'm close to prestiging it, that thing 3 times out of, I think, 5. This platinum isn't that bad, honestly. You just gotta beat the game on the hardest difficulty. And as long as you, like, reach the max level, which you need to do for a class, as long as you reach the max level for whatever class you prefer, and don't prestige, you should be good. It recommends you to be that level anyway. But I recommend probably just having some people too, because having people is also pretty good to have. I actually don't know where I even heard of this game, but I somehow found out about it in mid-2017, and I fell in love with it. This game now is essentially a part of me. Like, besides Overwatch, this is my most played multiplayer game. I love the mechanics, the difference in operators, the uniqueness in the guns, the uniqueness in the operators. I even was gonna go to watch a professional like championship match of this game in Canada, but that's for another story why I couldn't make it to that. The story of the original game, because I don't know the new one, the new story, because it's just changing, is that you're playing as counterterrorism organizations. You really know, to stop terrorism from happening. That's what the PvE portion of the game is, because there's terrorists in the PvE. But the PvE, I think, the PvP, player versus player, I think is just simulations, because some characters are lovers, some are siblings, and that would be messed up if they had to kill each other. That's why I think the game is just simulations. This platinum is a little bit hard. You gotta win a round of competitive with all the original 20 operators. Not a game, just a round. Get 10 kills with basically every equipment, like nitro cells, claymores, frags, 10 blind kills. I guess kill someone through a smoke, 10 people through a wall bang. There's just so much. This game is good. This game's pretty good, pretty fun, but it gets way too competitive. Way too competitive. I remember seeing the trailer for this game and thinking that it looks pretty cool. I finally tried it out maybe 4 months after it came out, so it wasn't that broken compared to its release. But this game is such an underrated masterpiece that still not many people are playing. They made it free many times, and people still have not given it a shot. This game is pretty long, but it's not tedious. The characters are great. Like, your mode of transportation, which is a bike, it can be upgraded, and it's amazing. I love it. I love the bike so much. But the game is sadly just super overshadowed by other companies and what they have made. But in this game, we follow a biker with the coolest name ever, Deacon St. John, who's fighting off the zombie outbreak while traversing between many different encampments, and he's trying not to lose hope that his wife that he had to split up in the heat of the moment during the outbreak, that he's hoping that she's still alive. This game is really damn good, and underappreciated and underrated. Like, I never played this open world zombies game ever, first of all. But then let alone an open world zombies game where you're traversing the whole thing on a bike. It's just cool. The weapons are great, the characters are great. Love the score, even though it's all copyrighted. Like Hell or High Water. Oh my god, that song is amazing. But you're gonna get a copyright strike if you play it. If you wouldn't, you already know I would be playing it in the background of this right now. The platinum is fairly easy though. You just gotta basically finish a story, which takes like 40 hours. I know that's pretty long, but it doesn't feel like it's gonna be that long. Like after the first hour of the game, you just immediately you just get into the vibe of it. You gotta do all the side quests too, which is around 20 hours I think too, which is a good amount. And you gotta grab like 75% of the collectibles, which isn't that much. Well, I guess I don't know if it's that much. It's been a while. This game is really long, but I love it. I beat it like at least 10 times. And I just wish more people played it. I recommend you should try it. 10 out of 10 game in my eyes. Like everyone else, I played this game when it came out. I played it on Xbox 360. I didn't play it that much, but I do remember playing it a little bit on the 360. I then transferred my online character, and I just transferred everything to the PS4 version, like just before they stopped letting you transfer from Xbox 360 and PS3, because people had like billions of dollars from modded money. So they stopped letting you transfer, so I barely got out. And now I transferred to the PS5. I think this is my most played... This is like my most played game of all time, essentially. So I beat the story like 6-7 times. I only did the collectibles once, because fuck that. But I played a good amount of online, where I'm like level 430 something. The most time I played, like my biggest playing spike online, was when they released the casino and the casino heist. Because I was playing daily for hours on end with my Australian friends. Or like I was constantly setting up heists, and we were constantly setting up the casino heist. So the story of this game it's a little bit complicated because it's pretty long, but I'm going to just talk about some minor details. We follow Michael, a retired bank robber who moved to the big city of Los Angeles, LA. He's trying to live the retirement life, but he gets brought back into the criminal world. He partners up with Franklin, a young man who's trying to make a living and not follow the path of the hood. Then they partner up with Michael's ex-partner and psychopath, Trevor. And while they try to rob stores and steal cars, do every crime imaginable. That's just like the story, pull off many heists, rob people, steal a bunch of cars, kill more people. It's a complicated story, but it's pretty good. I like it. I like the story and the characters. This game is actually pretty hard to plat, because you gotta reach level 100 online, which takes you a good amount of time, and win every activity, which that's not that bad if you have someone to boost with, because no one does most of the activities anymore. Then the story is not that easy either. You gotta collect a massive amount of collectibles, do a good amount of random bullshit, like fly under 50 bridges and flying between 15 different buildings sideways. Go collect heaps of nuclear waste and and get like perfect on 70 missions, like a gold medal on 70 missions. It's not that easy. This game is pretty hard to platinum. I recommend playing the story though. It's pretty fun. The characters are great, but yeah, the game's not that easy to platinum. This game was free in early 2020, and I figured I might as well try it out, see if I get the platinum. I never heard of this game before until it was free, and this game is pretty decent. You know, it's a pretty old game. It originally came out on a PS2, then it got a full HD remaster for the PS3, then it got a full remake on the PS4. And I hope they make a remake or remaster for the PS5. It's one of their oldest franchises. Like, sure, it's only one game ever had a sequel or prequel, but it's been around since PS2. The story of this game is that a wanderer goes to the forbidden land of the Colossi that has a gigantic temple in the dead center. He makes a deal with the god or whatever that's like in charge of the temple to kill the 16 Colossi in the area to resurrect the sacrificed friends that he brought with him. The Colossi are all unique though, which is pretty cool. They're giants made out of stone and fur, and you gotta climb them to reach their weak points and attack the weak points. Some of them require you to use the environment. Some are flying, and some of them you gotta go underwater. The game is. I'd say the game is easy to platinum. It'll take some good time. You gotta grab a bunch of collectibles, and you gotta beat the game multiple times because there's a very grindy trophy. But it's not hard; it's just very grindy. And you gotta speedrun the trophy too, but you gotta beat it within like 6 hours, or within 5 hours and 41 minutes. And I beat my first playthrough of the game was 5 hours and 48 minutes. So. Surely you guys could speedrun it when you're actually trying to. The game is pretty good, but I personally didn't like the ending. I guess I'm too stupid or something for that. I didn't like it. So for me, this game is just gonna be an 8 out of 10 for me. I never even heard of the Uncharted series until it became free in 2020. And when I played it, I immediately fell in love with the characters, the story, and the world that was formed around all four or five games. My only critique about the first 3 games is that they have fixed camera angles. That's like what I didn't really like about the OG God of War games, was that you couldn't control the camera angle at all. But I guess that's what makes it pretty good for the first ones, because that's how they hide all the collectibles, is because they hide them off camera where you gotta think. The story though the story has tense moments, very comedic moments, scary moments, and some like sad moments. But it has very comedic moments. Getting some of the clips, I was laughing at the dialogue. But the game follows Nathan Drake, a descendant of Sir Francis Drake, and he found the coordinates for El Dorado with his friend Victor Sullivan. Nate meets Elena Fisher, a TV documentary host, and they make their way through an abandoned jungle and an abandoned island to reach the treasure. The game is a medium when it comes to platinum. You gotta grab all the collectibles and beat the game on the hardest difficulty. and speedrun a couple chapters. The hardest difficulty is a little bit hard, but you could cheese your way through it, so it's not that bad. Nowhere near as hard as the next two games. The next two games I'd say are harder. But there's a couple moments in the story that like just don't make sense at all. Like if you're in an abandoned island, you reach an abandoned tomb where you're the first person to step foot in there in like 400 years, and somehow there's enemies in there. Like what? Makes no sense. But anyway, this game's like a 7 out of 10 for me. It's not the best Uncharted game, but actually it might be the worst, but it's still pretty good. I played the second Uncharted game right after I platinumed the first one, so there's like no, there's like no backstory for it. But the story of it is that 2 years after the first game, Nate starts another adventure with a new adversary named Chloe Fraser, and they're searching for the long-lost city of Shambhala. You go through many cities and locations to reach it. Like, you go through the Nepal, I think. Like, a gigantic ass city with heaps and heaps of temples, and you gotta find the one temple out of, like, the potential, like, 200. The platinum is the exact same as the last one. You know, like, you just gotta beat the game on the hardest difficulty, got a bunch of all the collectibles, do a bunch of random other stuff, like kill enemies, certain enemies with every like weapon basically. You gotta and speedrun a couple chapters. This game is harder. The boss in this game was way harder on crushing than the last one. Like he took me an hour. Damn Lazarevich took me an hour to beat on crushing. Like just solely. He was so hard because might as well, because I haven't this video is already pretty short for this game, so might as well just go into a little bit more detail real quick. There's 4 stages for that guy's boss where you have to shoot some sap on the tree that you're looking for. You find the tree that you're looking for, so you got to shoot the sap when he's nearby to hurt him. There's 4 stages. Every stage he gets more piss, and every stage he throws more grenades. First stage 1 grenade, 2, 2, 3, 3, and 4, 4. And the rate of fire that he throws the grenades increases, so that's a fun part. And yeah, and there's no autosaves for all 4 phases. Yeah, that's a fun wrinkle. You know, you gotta survive on the hardest difficulty while he's constantly chucking 4 grenades at you every 3.5 seconds. Like this shit's like fucking World at War. Well, yeah, honestly, I think this game's a perfect sequel. It is the last game, but infinitely better in every single possible way. So, yeah, I think it's a perfect sequel. 9 out of 10, in my opinion. So, yeah, if you still somehow not tried the Uncharted games, I recommend playing them.